What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Lunalight deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Gloomba. And this deck just got some amazing support, making it one of the best decks to play this format. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell near so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. And definitely give Gloomba some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Gold Leo. Gold Leo is basically the Stratos of the deck, but this card is absolutely insane. With the ability in this card is normal or special summon, you can actually add a Lunalight monster from your deck to your hand, accept a copy of this card, then discard a card, which is an amazing effect to not only search a card, but also help us get another card into the graveyard. This card also has the ability if a Lunalight monster is sent to your graveyard while this card is in the monster zone, even during the damage step, you can actually target one of them and add it to your hand, which is a pretty cool effect to grab the exact card you need out of the grave. We then play 2 copies of Silverhound. Silverhound is crazy powerful as a 2-of in the build. This card has the ability if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon a Lunalight monster from the deck except a copy of Silverhound, but you cannot special summon from the X deck except for Lunalight monsters while you control that face-up monster, which is an amazing ability to instantly bring the exact Lunalight you want to your side of the field. This card also has the ability that when a spell or trap card or effect is activated on the field, quick effect, you can banish this card and a Lunalight fusion monster from the graveyard to negate that activation, which is a crazy effect to basically just stop your opponent in their tracks. We then play 2 copies of Kaleido-Chick. Kaleido-Chick is really cool because this card is basically a fusion substitute monster with the ability that once per turn you can send a Lunalight monster from your deck or X deck to the graveyard, and the name of this face-up card on the field is treated as the sent monsters if used for a fusion summon this turn, which is an awesome ability to instantly get the exact card you need in the graveyard while also being able to fusion substitute this card for the exact card that you need. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target a polymerization in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, which is a great ability to be able to use to instantly grab your copy of polymerization to keep fusion summoning. We then play 2 copies of Black Sheep. Black Sheep is definitely a 2-of in the build, as this card has the ability you can actually discard this card to add a Lunalight monster from your graveyard to your hand, or add a polymerization from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability to instantly get to a copy of polymerization. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion summon, you can actually add to your hand 1 face-up Lunalight Pendulum monster from your X deck, or a Lunalight monster in your graveyard to your hand, which is a pretty cool ability to instantly grab the exact card that you need. We then play 2 copies of Lunalight Tiger. Lunalight Tiger is crazy powerful because this card is a soft once per turn monster reborn for your Lunalights, because once per turn you can target a Lunalight monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but it cannot attack and its effects are negated. Also, it's destroyed during the end phase, but that's totally fine. This is basically just getting us fusion materials back onto our side of the field. Plus, this card is super easy to bounce back to your hand and then reactivate it on your side of the field, which is so cool. Also, if this card in the field is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can target a Lunalight monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which is a pretty cool effect. We then play a single copy of Lunalight Wolf. Wolf is great because this card is basically a miracle fusion for the deck because it has the ability you cannot pendulum summon monsters except for Lunalight monsters, and this effect cannot be negated. Also, once per turn, you can fusion summon a Lunalight fusion monster from your X deck by banishing the fusion materials listed on it from the field or the graveyard, which is a crazy powerful effect to be able to use to instantly bring out one of our Lunalight fusion monsters. We then play a single copy of Yellow Marten. Yellow Marten is really good as a 1-of in the build because if this card's in the hand or the graveyard, you can target a Lunalight card you control, accept a copy of this card, and return back to the hand, and do special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field, which is a great effect to actually bounce our copy of Tiger, back to our hand so we can bring back our copy of Martin to our side of the field, then activate Tiger again and get a second monster reborn off of Tiger, which is so cool. This card also has the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can actually add a Lunalight spell trap from your deck to your hand, which is great to grab the exact card that you need. We make a single copy of Emerald Bird. Emerald Bird is great as a 1-of in the build because if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually send a Lunalight card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, draw a card. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target a level 4 or lower Lunalight monster that's banished from the graveyard and special summon defense position but negate its effects, which is a great effect to instantly bring back another Lunalight monster to your side of the field. Then make a single copy of Tri-Brigade Fractal. This card is great as a 1-of in the build because this card is searchable in the deck, and also it's great to be able to play because it's basically a Foolish Burial. That you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to send a level 3 or lower Beast Warrior Winged Beast monster from your deck to the grave, which is a pretty cool effect. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's definitely a 3-of in the build to basically just stop your opponent from touching the deck. We then play 3 copies of Mulcharmy Fluros. Fluros is definitely a 3-of as well, just let us dig in the deck for the exact card that we need. We then also play 3 copies of Drollin Lockbird. Drollin Lockbird is awesome to basically just stop the opponent from touching the deck for the rest of the turn. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is definitely a 1-of in the build to get the exact Lunalight monster we need in the graveyard. We then play a single copy of Polymerization. Polymerization is great in the deck, but it's so easy to loop through this card over and over again. We're just playing a single copy. We then play a single copy of Lunalight Fusion. Lunalight Fusion is definitely a 1-of in the build, but again, this card is searchable, so you only need a single copy. This card lets us fusion summon a Lunalight Fusion monster from the extract using monsters from our hand or field as fusion material. And if your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extract, you can also use one Lunalight monster in the deck or the extract as a fusion material, which is a pretty cool effect to help us step into another Lunalight Fusion monster. We then play 2 copies of Lunalight Perfume. Lunalight Perfume is really cool, especially now that we have a new fusion monster that can help us get to this card. And this card lets us target a Lunalight monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You can also banish this card from the graveyard and then discard a card to add a Lunalight monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability to instantly grab the exact card that you need, while also being able to get a card in the graveyard. We then play 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. Goods is good. This card is awesome in the build because we have some really cool targets in the deck, like our copy of Lunalight Perfume that we want to send to the graveyard off this card's effect, and you also want to send your copy of Serenade Dance to the graveyard off this card's ability. We then play 2 copies of Lunalight Masquerade. This card is absolutely broken and definitely a 3-of in the build, because during your main phase, if this card was activated this turn, you can send a Lunalight monster from your deck to the graveyard, instantly sending the exact Lunalight that you need to the grave. And if you fusion summon a Lunalight monster, you can actually add a Polymerization from your graveyard banishment to your hand, then you can discard a card, and if you do once, if you fusion summon a Lunalight monster this turn, you can also banish monsters from your graveyard as well, which is a crazy powerful effect to instantly go in for your copy of Liger Dancer, basically turning your graveyard into your field at hand so you can fusion summon into your copy of Liger Dancer extremely easily in this deck, which is absolutely insane. This card is definitely a 3-of in the build. It's a Foolish Burial, and it basically makes it so we can fusion summon using our graveyard, which is amazing. Also, grabbing our copy of Polymerization out of the grave so we can go in for another fusion play. This card is exactly what the deck needed and absolutely broken for this deck. We then play 3 copies of Fire Formation Tinky. Fire Formation Tinky is basically Rhoda for the deck because this card has the ability, when it's activated, you can add a level 4 or lower Beast Warrior type monster from your deck to your hand, and also it gives all your Beast Warrior type monsters an extra 100 attack points, which isn't that much, but it can help you go in for game. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing a few, starting off with a single copy of Serenade Dance. Serenade Dance is definitely a one-of in the build because this card has the ability that during your main phase, you can banish this card from the graveyard to send a card from your hand to the grave, and if you do, special summon a Lunalight monster from the deck, which is a great ability to instantly get this card in the graveyard using your copy of Foolish Burial Goods. We then also play 3 copies of Dominus Impulse. Dominus Impulse is crazy powerful in this deck and just a really cool card to stop your opponent from special summoning, and it's an awesome hand trap this format. But for a more budget option for you guys, if you need to play something else, you can change it out for Infinite Impermanence, which is another really cool option instead of playing Dominus Impulse, but this card is really good if you do have access to it. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with 2 copies of Lunalight Liger Dancer. This card is absolutely broken in this deck. This card has the ability that it takes a copy of Leo Dancer plus 3 Lunalight monsters to make this card, and it must be fusion summoned with the above fusion materials. But it's so easy to fusion summon in this deck. This card has the ability it's unaffected by other card effects except Lunalight cards, making this card a Towers-like boss monster, and can make a second attack during each battle phase, and once per turn, quick effect, you can actually send a Lunalight monster from your extra deck to the graveyard to destroy all cards that your opponent controls that are special summon monsters, which is absolutely broken on this 3,800 attack point monster. It makes it so easy to OTK your opponent, and it's also very easy to actually summon 2 of these in a turn to be able to go in for game. We then play 2 copies of Leo Dancer. Leo Dancer is still an awesome boss monster. We're basically just using this card to step into our copy of Liger Dancer, but it's still an awesome card to be able to play as a 2 of in this build. We then play 2 copies of Perfume Dancer. Perfume Dancer is great for Lunalight Perfume because this card has the ability, and if this card is fusion summoned, you can add a Lunalight Perfume from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability because previously, since there was a space between Luna and Light, you could not search Lunalight Perfume, but this card fixes that problem. This card also has the ability you can target one of the Lunalight card that you control and return it back to the hand or the extract, then special summon a Lunalight monster from your hand. And also banish this card from the graveyard, and this turn all monsters your opponent control lose attack equal to their original defense, which is an awesome ability so we can OTK. We then play a single copy of Saber Dancer. Saber Dancer is really good to be able to get in the graveyard because this card has an awesome effect that during the main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the grave, you can banish this card from the graveyard, target 1 fusion monster you control, and it gains 3,000 attack points until the end of the turn, making it super easy to OTK your opponent. This card is awesome in the build and also very easy to summon because it just requires 3 Lunalight monsters to make this card. We then play a single copy of Cat Dancer. Cat Dancer is still really good to be able to play as a 1-of in the build and comes up all the time in this deck to be able to summon because it just requires 2 Lunalight monsters to be able to summon, and also it has a really cool ability that once per turn during your main phase 1, you can treat one of the Lunalight monsters you control, and for the rest turn, the first time each monster your opponent controls would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. Also, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls twice each this turn, which is a great ability to instantly just swing in multiple times into your opponent's monsters so we can go in for game. And lay a single copy of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King. Tiger King is great as a 1-of build because this card can instantly get us to a copy of Tinky, which is great. This card also has a really cool ability. Once per turn, you can just detach material from this card to negate the effects of all face effect monsters currently on the field, except Beast Warrior monsters until the end of the opponent's turn, which is a crazy powerful effect because all of our Lunalight monsters are actually Beast Warriors, which is so cool to be able to use this card in this deck to basically just use it as a negate at the end of our combo, which is absolutely amazing, or to be able to just shut down our opponent's board so we can go in for game. We then made a single copy of Baguska. Baguska is great as a 1-of in the build, just to help us slow down the game just in case we need to. Plus, it's really cool to be able to summon alongside your copy of Liger Dancer because Liger Dancer is unaffected by every other effect besides Lunalight monsters, so your copy of Baguska just doesn't affect Liger Dancer, which is crazy. We then a single copy of Tornado Dragon. Tornado Dragon is great just to pop our opponent's back row and to be able to pop our cards on our side of the field just in case you need to. We then a single copy of Number 60. Number 60 is great to OTK your opponent, as this card has the ability either draw 2 and discard a card, be able to bring back a monster in the grave in defense, or double the attack of one monster you control into the end of the turn, which is a crazy powerful effect just to help you go in for game. And my single copy of SP. SP is awesome in the deck as a 1 to basically just use this card as a double interruption. With my single copy of Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep is just awesome in this deck to basically use it as a monster reborn, as it has the ability if you basically fusion summon, you get to special summon a level 4 or lower monster from the graveyard, which is insane. And then finally play a single copy of Alamirage. Alamirage is just a good option in the deck as a 1-0, and just an awesome card overall in this build. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is insane to be able to play. It's so cool that we finally have some support for Lunalight, and it's awesome that you basically have an awesome new boss monster in the form of Liger Dancer to help you go in for game, and it's just such a fun deck to be able to play, just to be able to combo off, fusion summon into all sorts of really cool boss monsters, and then go in for game. So, that's gonna do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell near so you can come for our notification squad. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.